You're listening to The Lyndia Grant Show. Think on these things with Lyndia Grant.
Well, good evening, Radio 1 listeners. We are here with Dr. Julianne Malvo. She's going to talk to us about what's really going on. And then in the second half of our show, we're going to be talking to Dorinda White. She is the founder of Rendy Media, and she's going to be talking to us about how to use AI and learn some facts about what to do. First, let's go to Dr. Julianne. You're listening to the Lyndia Grant Show here on Spirit 1340 WYCB, and she is going to talk to us about the latest. Good afternoon, Dr. J.
Hi, Lyndia. It's great to talk to you, to be with you. And, there's so much. There is just so much. Mm-hmm. But let's begin with Washington, D.C., where this person, who may be the president of the United States, or he's the president, we'll give him that. He has used the 1973 Home Rule Act to invoke a state of emergency here in the District of Columbia. He said that the crime is so high and just so out of control that the only thing we can do is have the National Guard here to impose it. But that's just BS. And we know it is, because crime rates are lower than they've been in the past 3 years. The mayor has said there's no emergency. Pam Smith, the police chief, has said there's no emergency. Many members of Congress have said there's no emergency. What this man is doing is using the District of Columbia as a way to perhaps exert control in other cities, other Democratic-controlled cities. He's already talked about crime in Baltimore. He's talked about crime in Chicago. Is it a coincidence that these cities of crime in L.A. are led by Black people?
And Oakland. Oakland, too.
Oakland. That's right, at Oakland. How could I forget my next door neighbor at home? But in any case, this is just crazy. In D.C., I live downtown D.C., as you know, Lyndia.
Yes.
In D.C., Saturday night, I walked up to Trader Joe's to get a sandwich for my nephew. Two young brothers, very clean-cut looking young brothers, were walking across the street. This ICE person stopped them and asked them for ID. No, she was National Guard, a Black woman. Stopped him and asked for ID, and the young man said, bless him, he said, my dad is a lawyer. He says, I don't have to show you anything. She said, I said, young men, do me a favor, keep walking. And she said, I've been asking you for your ID. I said, right. I started laughing. She said, well, who are you? Are you a congressperson? I said, no, but I know a lot of them. But the bottom line was, she was just harassing them because she said one of them looked like he could be Latino. I said, so now, Black woman, you're racially profiling people? Mm-hmm. But this is happening all over the city. In Adams Morgan, 3 ICE agents, or they say they were, which is the other thing, were walking restaurant to restaurant with a flyer asking people to cooperate with the government to identify their employees that were undocumented. Excuse me?
Wow.
I mean, and they're at Union Station. They're all over Union Station. These National Guard come from, he's asked for Republican states to send their National Guard. Now, National Guards are only supposed to be used in cases of emergency or like a hurricane or something like that, uprising, something like that. Mm-hmm. We now have some from Tennessee, about 160. We have some from Mississippi. Now, you know, we have some from Mississippi. We have a problem, about 200. We have some coming from Louisiana. On the 16th, we got some from West Virginia. We got some from South Carolina, and we got some from Ohio. So there are over 1,100 National Guard people here in the District of Columbia, not to mention the D.C. National Guard, which the president can call up. So we got about 1,800 National Guard people roaming the district, plus we have ICE, plus the regular Metropolitan Police. But if we really wanted to reduce crime in D.C., why not fully fund the D.C. budget and stop taking money from the D.C. budget? We're, according to Superintendent Police Chief Smith, we're about 800 police officers short here in the district. No, we'd rather have the National Guard in here. It's political theater. In addition to this, the National Guard comes with it's a federal cost, which means it's going to be expensive.
Mm-hmm.
Doesn't matter. Some of them are staying at the Armory, same other places. But the National Guard, look, the National Guard, most of these people have full-time jobs. They have families. They are served in case of emergency. So you have people, a man in Mississippi with a family, a woman in West Virginia with 3 kids. They have to be deployed and they just have to get this inconvenience. But this is what this man wants. He's not looking at taking over cities in Republican cities where there are mayors, where there's crime. Anytime you have a city, you're going to have crime. That's just how it is. I don't mean to accept crime. We don't want it. And when people should pay the cost when they commit crimes. But this is theater. It's ridiculous. People are protesting. People are yelling at ICE and the other people, go home, go home. But they have made, as of Tuesday, over 380 arrests. About 60 firearms have been seized. So they're saying this is effective. But what's also happening is that people have been deported. Some of them are people, there's one man that the story about, been here 30 years and has a business, is a pastor, just been deported. So this is, again, this is that man on steroids. This is Trump 1.0 on steroids, and it's very disruptive. It's also, he said he was going to fix the economy. Eating out in Washington is down by about 30% this week. Mm-hmm. People are not eating out. These white people in the suburbs that said, oh, Trump is talking about, they said they've been eating out for the first time in forever. No, I was talking to a guy who runs a restaurant in the neighborhood. He said Saturday night, he said about half the people they usually have. So that's what's going on there. It's a continuing story. It's a developing story. And it's a story, it really is a distractionary story because there's no crime emergency in the District of Columbia. What's happening in the District of Columbia is he's using us as an example to see what he can get away with in other cities. But he can't get away with it in other cities because their governors have to call out the National Guard. Mm-hmm. We don't have a governor, so he can meddle with DC. I'm very happy that Mayor Bowser, she started out very conciliatory, but she has gotten angrier, and you can tell, and she said this is illegal. Not only is it illegal, it's nonsense. The term she uses, this is nonsense. And we can see that it is. And good for our attorney general here in the district who sued the president. Mm-hmm. Said, no, we're not going to let this go down. So initially, the head of the DEA was going to be in charge of the DC police. Thanks to our attorney general, the judge said no. If they need the DC police, they can ask. They can ask. Mm-hmm. But they can't tell the police chief what to do. So, as I said, it's a developing story. Let me get off that before I get animated, if I haven't already. Now, this week, our young people are coming back to school. Howard University students are coming back. They just got a huge grant to help with student retention and scholarships. DCPS public schools are coming back, or have come back, and that's exciting. Lots of back to school rallies and support for our young people, school supply drives, Mark the Table and others. So basically the community is rallying around our young people. And I think that's really important. Our HBCUs also are getting some support. We are concerned, however, that money that the Biden administration set aside for HBCUs may be in peril because of this man. In addition, because the Department of Education is not at full speed, they cut almost half of those employees. If you have this, if you're listening and you don't have your financial aid stuff together for your young people, get on a plane, get on a bus, go to their university, because the Department of Education cannot manage the volume of what's going on. It's really very challenging. Mm-hmm. Now, the one thing I need to lift up, Lyndia, is the homeless situation here in DC, because the National Guard and others have been breaking down homeless encampments. Remember, this man said that the DC was overrun with homeless people. So they've broken down over, I think, 300 encampments, moving homeless people from the parks, public spaces, doing nothing to help them. They're being told they can go into, they can go into shelters or they can go to jail. There's a piece of legislation. It's called the Homeless Outreach and Encampment Cleanup Program. It is a federal initiative, and it's an attack on our homeless people. If they want to lower homelessness, what can you do? Develop affordable housing. Real simple. Develop affordable housing. But this does not seem to be anything that they're interested in, instead causing all kind of harm for homeless people. And we do have a homeless challenge here in the district, but what's the challenge? We don't have enough affordable housing. And some of the programs that the district has provided for homeless people have been cut by the federal government, not allowing us to have access to our own federal dollars. So we have, as I said, we have some major challenges, but we have, I think our city council and our mayor are time enough for us. They've really been, I think on this, Mayor Bowser has been, I've had my differences, but I think that she has done a good job of towing the line between the tightrope, really, between supporting the district, supporting the people, cooperating up to the point, and then putting her foot down and saying, essentially, although she would never use those terms, oh hell no. That's where we are with that. Now, we are, in a week or so, the March on Washington, August 28th, it will be an anniversary year. Usually we're on the Mall, but this year, Reverend Sharpton has said they want to go onto Wall Street. So Jamal Bryant, the brilliant, talented Jamal Bryant, will be here in the district at my church, Metropolitan AME Church, on August 28th. Check it out, folks. Think about it. We do not want to let the March on Washington go. It was August 28th, 1963, and here we are. It is time for us to continue to lift this up, especially at a time when our voting rights are being attacked, when so many other things are being attacked. The Texas folks have gone back, but they're still fighting. They have gone, this Texas state legislature has gone back, but they're still fighting. They're not trying to make it easy for Republicans. And in California, Governor Gavin Newsom has said that we will redistrict California so that we too can get 5 seats, but 5 for the Democrats. That's it for me today, Lyndia. I told you there was plenty going on.
Yes, it is. Thank you, Dr. Julian. We're going to go to our commercial break, and when we come back, we're going to talk to Dorinda White about how to use AI most effectively. Thanks, Dr. J.
If it wasn't for my care coach at AmeriHealth, I probably wouldn't be so healthy right now. As a man, we don't get checkups or see a doctor regularly anyways. It's probably just a man thing because none of my partners go either. We know we should, but we just don't, and hope it works out.
So what changed for you?
AmeriHealth assigned me a care coach, somebody that gives one-on-one help, answer questions, explain things, and help set my appointments. She also helped me understand what having high blood pressure really means and ways to manage it so it doesn't kill me. It ain't nothing to play with. If you're a member of AmeriHealth, ask for a care coach. I'm glad I got mine.
At AmeriHealth, if you need a care coach, you can have one. Just call us at 1-877-759-6224 to get connected. 1-877-759-6224. This program is funded in part by the government of the District of Columbia Department of Healthcare Finance. Mayor Muriel Bowser.
This is Frank Smith with the African American Civil War Museum in Washington, D.C., located at 1925 Vermont Avenue Northwest on the Green Line. Did you know that a recent study found that children who visit museums do better in school and in life than children who do not? So parents, teachers, and preachers, let's get moving. I promise you, if you bring your children to the African American Civil War Museum, they will be inspired by the images that they see. They will be impressed by our living history reenactors who are always available, and they will be involved in our scavenger hunt that takes them throughout our exhibit. That's the African American Civil War Museum, 1925 Vermont Avenue. Our hours are 10 to 6:30 on weekdays, 12 to 4 on Saturdays and Sundays. See it. Be inspired.
Thank you for tuning in to the Lyndia Grant Show. We are back for the second half of our show. Today we're joined by Dorinda White, founder of Rindy Media Global Enterprises and the visionary behind the Savvy Prompter. Dorinda is a strategic communications professional with a passion for helping people unlock the power of artificial intelligence, also known as AI. She's trained and certified in AI, but more importantly, she's on a mission to show all of us how AI can make life easier, more productive, and even more creative for you and me. From writing a recipe to conducting market research to learning a new language, AI isn't just for tech experts anymore. It's for you, for me, and everyone who wants to work smarter, not harder. And here's the exciting part to listeners. It all begins with one simple skill, knowing how to ask AI the right questions. That's why Dorinda launched the Savvy Prompter, a coaching platform that teaches people how to communicate with AI in ways that get real results. AI is here, it's not going anywhere, and today, Dorinda will explain why this moment matters, how AI works, when to use it, and most importantly, what your next step can be. So stay with us, tell a friend, because in the next 10 to 12 minutes, you just might discover the future and how it can start working for you today. Welcome to the show today, Dorinda. I'm so glad to have you. Talk to the listeners and tell them why AI and why AI now.
Okay, Lyndia, thank you again for having me. I'm so excited to be here today. So let me start with this. AI, also known as artificial intelligence, is not just for scientists, tech experts, or big companies anymore. It's for you. It's already shaping the way we live, work, and even connect with each other. So it's for all of us. So think about it. The same way that email once changed how we communicated or how Google changed how we found information, AI is the next leap forward. And here's the thing. It's not 5 years away. It's happening right now. So over the next 5 minutes, I want to share with you why AI matters today, what it really is in simple terms, when you should think about using it, how to use it in your everyday life, whether at home or work, in church or with family, and finally, what your next steps can be. So if you've ever felt curious, maybe even a little nervous about this thing called AI, stay with me. I promise to keep it simple, real, and practical because AI is here to stay. And it's up to us to learn how to make it work for us. So you asked the question, why AI? Why AI now?
Tell the listeners what it is, and then tell them when to use AI.
Will do. So why AI and why now? You've probably already heard of AI, but here's the truth. You're already using it. If you use Gmail or Microsoft products, you already have AI tools built in, like Gemini or Copilot. You can also download ChatGPT right to your phone or computer. It works just like any other app. Or on Zoom, there's tools like Otter AI, which can automatically transcribe meetings and keep you organized. But here's something exciting. Most AI tools now have a voice mode. That means you can talk to it just like you talk to Alexa or Siri. No typing required. So this is the moment to get familiar because people who start now will be the ones ahead tomorrow. So Lyndia, you ask, what is AI? And also, what is a prompt? Because I formed the Savvy Prompter for a reason. At its core, AI is technology that can understand language, learn patterns, and respond back to us. You can think of it like a super smart helper that can brainstorm, explain, and create alongside you. And here's the key. AI is only as good as the questions you ask it. That is called a prompt. A prompt is simply your instruction, how you talk to AI. And that's why savvy prompting matters. The clearer and smarter your prompt, the better the results. So next, I'd like to share when to use AI. So I suggest a simple mindset. Think AI first. Whether you're about to research, write, plan, or create anything, ask, could AI give me a head start? It won't replace you, but it can save you hours and spark new ideas. At home, at work, in your community, AI is about getting things done smarter, not harder. So let me give you some examples because we're at the point of, let me share how AI can be used. I'm going to give you some simple use cases. For example, in your personal life, you can ask ChatGPT for a quick dinner recipe using only what's in your fridge. You can do event planning for graduations, birthdays, itineraries for travel. There's so many uses in your personal life. In the workplace, you can let AI draft the first version of an email, a report, or meeting notes. It can even prepare you for your job interview by asking you specific questions that you may have to answer when on the interview. And it's a back and forth conversation. In your church or community, you can use AI to create ideas for newsletters, sermons, or fundraising events. In your family, practice Spanish with your kids or ask AI to explain math homework in simple terms. For example, I hate math, but if I were up against the wall with how to solve a problem, I would ask AI to explain it to me as if I'm a fifth grader, and it would do that.
Mm-hmm.
So, and now that AI tools can talk back in voice mode, you can literally have a conversation with it. No typing, just ask your question, listen to the response. That's the future right here today.
And Dorinda, so each time a person speaks to it, whether it's billions of people around the world, the answer is specific to you and your question. You don't have to worry about plagiarism. Is that right?
That is true. However, there is a caveat. One of the things that I've learned in my training is do not share personal information. Social security number, birth date, place of birth, because AI is formed with large language models. It's a little bit more complicated, but there are tokens and there are people around the world who have prepared answers in advance to questions that may be formed by anybody, but it's best not to share any personal information when you're using artificial intelligence.
Okay, I understand. And you said something about school. A lot of the schools don't want the kids to use AI. But what you were saying is a way for them to help understand maybe math, what the teacher explained, but in a simpler way or in another version. Is that what you're saying?
That is very true. For example, if there's a complex equation or a complex math issue, you can put it into ChatGPT or Gemini or Copilot and say, okay, this is the equation. Explain this to me as if I'm a fifth grader and give me all the elements of why this equation moves forward the way it does and how it arrived at the answer. And it will tell you.
I went to my granddaughter's back to school night, and they said no phones this year, no computers, no AI. Everybody have to stay away from everything. Is there a way for them to do it and not be in trouble?
Well, what I would say is in the school environment, not to use it because schools they can trace back and find out that you have used it. And one of the reasons why also is they want you to have critical thinking skills.
Yes.
AI does take away some of your own thinking. That's why it's more like an assistant, like a co-pilot. It's working with you to get to the answer, but you have to know the right language to put in there to get the right answer. And that's where a prompt comes in. And every AI tool uses a prompt area where you type in, for example, when I use it, and if I'm writing something and I'm unsure, I will say, act like a copywriter and prepare this speech for me. The tone should be inspirational. It should be exciting. And it should also end on a high note. And I want you to keep it simplistic. And then I ask it at the end, do you understand? And it will say, sure, Dorinda, I understand. And it will give me what I asked for. But sometimes you have to do several iterations in order to get to the precise answer you want. And then what some people can do and have done is once you get that little help from AI, you take it, you copy it, and then you personalize it. You make it your own.
You have to. I noticed that already.
Yeah.
Because some things they don't know.
Exactly.
And so,
what is called, sometimes AI can have what's called hallucinations. I know it sounds strange. It has hallucinations. So it'll come up with something you're like, wait a second, I know that's not right. Let me go check it and make certain it's right. It's gotten better in the past few weeks. Now you can also tell it at the end of your prompt, you can tell it, think deeply, which means it will think deeply to get to the answer that you're looking for.
Okay. Well, Dorinda, we only have a couple of minutes. Our time runs out very quickly. Is there training that people can attend? Would you recommend anything, or they can look websites or YouTube, or
yes,
tell them what they can do?
YouTube can train you. Yes, you can go to YouTube and be trained all the way. However, I strongly suggest if you're just venturing to the AI world that you have someone who can walk with you. They can hold your hand as you take those steps to understand AI. But it's also one of those things where if you dabble in it for a little bit, like maybe, spend 10 minutes 3 to 5 times a week exploring AI while you're sipping your morning coffee, you can do it. You don't just listen, try it. Start small, like you do when you use a new app on your phone. So the more you use it, the more natural it will feel, just like wanting to use, like I said, a new app on your phone. So when you're ready for more, that's where my company, the Savvy Prompter, comes in. We offer one-on-one training for individuals, especially the seasoned professional who can leverage AI to increase productivity and effectiveness. We offer small group coaching for teams or community groups, and we offer speaking engagements for workplaces, churches, organizations. So what I'd say, Lyndia, is this is what I'd want the audience to take away. It's not a passing trend. It's a powerful tool that's here to stay. The question isn't whether it will shape our future. It already is. The real question is, will you take the step to use it for yourself? I'd say start small, even with the 10 minutes, 3 or 4 times a week, and you'll be amazed at how quickly it becomes part of your toolkit for saving time, sparking ideas, making life just a little bit easier. To book time with me, I can be reached at Dorinda at thesavvyprompter.com. That's THESAVVYPROMPTER.com, or by phone at 202-495-1054. AI is here. The future is waiting. Let's step into it together, and I can help you do it.
All right. Well, it would be great to have listeners out there who have some fabulous things going on, and they want to take advantage and get the most use from AI. This one you should call Dorinda. She can help you with that. All right. Well, thank you for being my guest today. I know we just gave them a tease, but it also, knowledge is power. It's always good to know what you can and cannot do, and what you should know and what you shouldn't know. And this is where learning comes in, and they can find you've told them what to do, and they can give you a call. So thank you for being my guest today, Dorinda.
And thank you for having me, Lyndia. It has been a pleasure.
All right, that concludes our show for this week. We'll talk to you again next week. Good day.
Thank you for listening to The Lyndia Grant Show. Think on these things with your host, Lyndia Grant.